What's up, NBA fans? Welcome back to another episode of Off the Dribble, episode 22, featuring myself, Aashrith, and my co-host Chetan. We've been coming up with a lot of nice segments for you guys over the past few weeks due to the lull of basketball content, and I think we got another good one in store for you guys today. So, without further ado, I think we'll start with the new segment, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The new segment that we're doing is gonna be kind of we're gonna pick, each of us are gonna pick an X factor from each NBA team, and we're gonna start off with the Western Conference, and we're gonna go from the 15th team to the number one team, based off the standings from last season. So we're gonna pick one player who's gonna be an X factor that we think for that team and is gonna be really important for that team, but at the same time, it's not gonna be a player who is really widely known throughout the league or is a solidified all-star or all-NBA type of player. It's someone that is kind of maybe a role player, but at the same time can be a lot better than a role player at the same time.
Yeah.
So
we
we're gonna start with
we
can start with number 15, and you can go ahead and say who your X factor is for the Portland Trailblazers.
Yeah, so we'll just go in reverse standing order for the viewers that don't know what order we're going to go in. So we'll start off with the Blazers. And the Blazers was a hard one because there's so many players in this team that could be the X factor. And you don't really know who's the star and who's not the star. I just went with Scoot Henderson. I think his sort of development is key for the Blazers to make any sort of noise. One could say that the X factor might be the player that causes them to lose the most because they're going to need it. But I think, assuming that every team's end goal is to win a championship, the player that would advance the Blazers the most is definitely Scoot Henderson's development. They drafted him to be that sort of star point guard. They drafted him on sort of the Russell Westbrook and Ja Morant mold. And he frankly hasn't come close to that yet. And if he wants to get, I think he has 2 of the 3 worst PERs of all time, or plus minuses per game in all time. It's kind of crazy the NBA records he has already. But I think if he develops and Anthony Simons goes and they build a team around him, his development is the only way that the Blazers can make a push at anything, let alone be anything but the 15th seed.
Yeah, I could see where you're coming from with that. And so in my opinion, I feel his progression and his just progress he'll take in the next couple of years, that's going to be given, because I feel he was the number one pick, so he has all the tools to be a really good player, and he has shown those flashes. But to me, it's going to be Deni Avdija. Deni just recently got traded to the Blazers over the offseason, and I was kind of surprised that the Wizards actually even let him go, kind of, because he was a really solid player for them, provided much needed spacing for a team that didn't have too many shooters, and was when a team is struggling, you want to kind of surround your team with shooters, because that's the best possible way to make your team better in the beginning. He shoots 38% from 3 last season, and that was an 8% increase from the season before, giving you 15 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists a game. And he's really good at staying on the floor. He's played 82 games, 76 and 75 the last 3 seasons. So I feel with his progression, and he's also pretty young. He's only, if I remember, he's only 23 years old. So again, he has a lot of room to improve, and just putting a young player like that besides someone like Scoot Henderson, like you said, that would kind of Blazers' future a little brighter.
Yeah, that's a good take, actually. I actually forgot Deni Avdija even got traded to that team. It's a player that a lot of really good franchises wanted.
Yeah,
he's definitely going to be. He's might walk in as their best player, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay, so next is the Spurs, right? So for the Spurs, I went kind of rogue with this one because I like this player in college a lot, and I think he's not been given sort of his fair shake, and I think this season is kind of the season where it's going to happen. And for the Spurs, I put Malachi Branham.
Okay.
And he averaged 9 points a game last season. He's not really the focal point of anything, but I feel like he's so underrated offensively. He just needs to take better shots. When he's on, he's on. But if Wemby's gonna get doubled like we assume that he is, we think he's better than Anthony Davis. And if Devin Vassell progresses to what we think he's gonna progress, the Spurs need a third option.
Yeah.
And we assume it's gonna be Stephon Castle at some point in his career, but I don't think point guards really adapt to the Popovich system that fast. So I think although Chris Paul is going to be there, he's not really a scorer anymore. He was never a
Yeah.
scorer, but he's not like a scorer, especially now. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's going to look to facilitate and get Wemby and Devin the ball. So who can still be that third scorer? I saw a lot of people say Jeremy Sohan. I just don't think Jeremy Sohan is that good at basketball. So I went with Malachi Branham. I think he has the best chance to slip into that role, and I really like the way he plays.
Yeah, that's a great take. For me, this is kind of like someone who's already solidified on the team a little bit, but like hasn't been an all-star in his career yet, or anything, and I still feel like he doesn't get the recognition he deserves. You probably know who I'm talking
Yeah,
about. It's Devin Vassell.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
me and
yeah.
Nazi are both huge fans of Devin Vassell. Like you watch him play and like his game, like I said this so many times, but his game is so smooth. Like he has all the
Yeah.
measurables to be like a 25 point per game scorer, like consistently on a given night, and be like an every single year all-star type of player. And I feel like next season, if he can bring his point total up from like that 19, 20 points and like that 45% field goal efficiency to like that 50 to like 21, 23 range, that would put Spurs in like a pretty decent position to maybe even make a run into the play-in position. Because with their team that they already have, like they might be young, might not have like a crazy amount of talent, but they have enough talent to maybe take that push to the play-in. And Devin Vassell taking that extra step would be the X factor for that team, because Wemby's already your star, Chris Paul is your facilitator on the court, you're kind of like solidified veteran, and then just have Devin Vassell go out there and just give you an extra 23 points per game, and that would put the Spurs in a really good position.
Yeah, and I mean, we both think he has that sort of all-star potential.
Yeah.
If he reaches that, and Wemby also reaches that, then like the Spurs could genuinely be a force in the West, which is crazy for Wemby's second season. So next would be the Grizzlies, and for the Grizzlies, I have Vince Williams.
Yep.
And I think, yeah, he's so underrated. But I think I almost feel like he gets the recognition from like people who watch every game.
Yeah.
But the Grizzlies weren't really on national TV that much last season. People saw like, but Gigi Jackson got a lot more of the press because of his age, and rightfully so. He almost dropped 40 in a game, didn't he?
Yep.
Like he was great last season. But the player who really stood out to me throughout the Grizzlies was definitely Vince Williams. He averaged 10 points a game, but it came on like 45% shooting from the field, 38% from three. Like that's very good. He ended up starting 33 games last season compared to the one he started late end of this previous season. He's only going to keep progressing. Ja and Jaren are going to be the top two players in the team, obviously, but like there's room again for a team I'm pretty high on, the Grizzlies, for someone to be that sort of third option. And honestly, this is a combined, like it could be a hot take, but I think he's going to be, or at least in the running for most improved player as well.
I can see that happening as well. Yep.
Yeah.
You kind of already touched on like everything, but for me, it was also like Vince Williams. It was between Vince Williams Jr. and then it was also going to be between Derrick Rose as like a backup point guard kind of option. But like I ended up picking Vince Williams Jr. because of his age, and I just saw the flashes because like the Grizzlies play the Wolves 4 times a year, obviously. So every time I watch almost every Wolves game. So he started against us multiple games. Pretty good defender. He can do basically whatever you need to do on offense as well. Like he has a pretty good 3-point shot. He'll hit your open shots, and again, only 23 years old, so he'll only be getting better.
Exactly. So next from Utah, I have, well, I guess he might even be the second best player, but I have Colin Sexton.
Okay.
And like I think if I'm not mistaken, he's on a 4-year, $70 million contract. And he's played to that contract so well. And the only reason I brought up Colin Sexton as the X Factor, because I wouldn't normally, because I think he's like almost too good to be the X Factor. But like I had, Jake, a popular friend that I bring up on this podcast, asked a couple weeks ago, like, is Colin Sexton in China? Is he still in the league? And like, it hit me that people don't understand that this guy's still putting up good numbers. Like, because it's Utah, and most of the shine in Utah goes to Lauri Markkanen, but Colin Sexton's a great number 2. And I'm blanking on who they drafted this year, but I don't really see many pieces on Utah making that big of an impact. I don't particularly. Sorry?
Filipowski and Collier.
Oh, Filipowski. But I don't think that Walker Kessler is going to really take that much of the offensive load.
Yeah.
Jordan Clarkson here and there, but I think Colin Sexton is going to be that number 2 still. And again, like I said with Scoot Henderson, if this team wants to make any sort of damage, it's going to be because Colin Sexton was a really good number 2 to Lauri Markkanen.
Yeah. For me, it was between Keontae George and Taylor Hendricks. I ended up picking Taylor Hendricks because, like, when I don't know if even people who know who Taylor Hendricks is. Like, he was the 9th pick for the Jazz last year.
Yeah,
he went
great
to UCF.
player.
Yeah, he's a pretty good player. He actually went to the NSU high school, like that's part of like my university. So it's like called the NSU.
Oh, really?
U School. Yeah, so he went there for high school. So that was pretty cool to see as well. But he kind of reminds me of like a Jaden McDaniels kind of player. Like he plays like that 3-4-ish role, like really long, has like shown the flashes of being a really good defender, but like it was his rookie season. So like the biggest thing I saw from him was like committing like unnecessary fouls. But obviously like you kind of adjust to that like throughout your years being in the league. And at the same time, his stats aren't crazy. Like he only averaged 7 points a game on 45% shooting, and he does have a pretty good 3-point shot. He shot 38% from 3, and then like 5 rebounds a game and 1 assist a game. And he only played like 22 minutes a game, and he did start a decent amount of games for the team as well. And he didn't play too much during the season. He only played 40 games, but again, like he has like the measurables to be like that really good 3-and-D player, and he's really young. Like it was his first season in the league last year. So I feel like he'll be able to take that little next step. And I feel like the progression he'll have is kind of like the progression like we saw with Jaden McDaniels. Like you'll see the defensive defensive intensity will be there, but you're gonna want to see the more progression offensively.
Yeah, that's a great take. I forgot Taylor Hendricks on that team. Honestly, that's an even better take. Honestly. So next is the Rockets, and this is honestly really easy for me. Like I think this guy's gonna be a shoe-in for Rookie of the Year. The Reed Shepherd is the pick for me, and like,
for me
bro,
as well.
Yeah, like he's different. You can speak about him if you want to. I took Vince Williams from you, so you can talk about Reed Shepherd.
I was like watching a video the other day of like he went to open runs like and he was playing against like the Rockets team, and I was just like watching him play, and he looks like he plays like he's been in the league already for like 5 years. Like he doesn't play like he's a rookie, and that's kind of what that's really good for the Rockets because the Rockets are already a really young team. So you want someone that's like NBA ready and that can come in and give you consistent minutes and just give you and like help you win immediately, and that's what he's gonna do for them. And like if he can live up to the hype, especially with the shooting, like his shooting, like he's probably the best shooter in the draft probably, and on that team is
easily,
in my opinion, easily the best shooter. And so like with that shooting, I feel like he can definitely take that Rockets team to another level.
Dude, like I don't think people understand how absurd 50% from 3 in college is.
Yeah, bro.
Like it doesn't even make any sense. Like, and it's not even just like, well, there's like a really short explanation for why Reed Shepherd is going to be good, and it's a Kentucky guard besides Ty Washington, he's probably going to be an all-star. Yeah. Like, Ty Washington unfortunately gets the rep of being the only Calipari guard that hasn't succeeded at the NBA level. Mm-hmm. Like only first round Calipari pick that hasn't succeeded at the NBA level, but everyone else, if you take a look, it's like Shea, Jamal Murray, you have like Tyler Hero, you have John Wall, De'Aaron Fox, like you go to like everybody gets like insane, and Reed and Rob are gonna be probably fall in that line. I think Reed should have been the number 1 pick in the draft, honestly. Mm-hmm. So he's insane, and he's gonna help the Rockets a lot.
Yep.
So for the Warriors, I was this was kind of like kind of a cop-out pick. I could have gone for someone a bit more like hot take, but I went Pods.
Like, I also went Pods as well.
Yeah, like his development is what the Rockets. I'm sorry, the Warriors like need to
and
like get
the
better.
Warriors, the Warriors speak so like they think of him so highly, like to put him on such a high pedestal that you kind of have to pick Pods as that X factor for the team because they think of him so highly. Like he's basically untouchable for the team. So like when you're
it was gonna be
like that, you got to be good.
It was gonna be him or Kuminga.
Yeah,
I just think Pods fits the system a little better.
Yep, I just don't think Kuminga's ever gonna get that consistent playing time in that system under Kerr.
Exactly. So I mean, we've spoken about Pods before. Like he got an all defensive team vote from Kendrick Perkins, I think. a little crazy in my opinion, but it goes to show like how valuable like people think he is on both ends. Like Santa Clara product, I heard of him because after J-Dub came out of Santa Clara, like I wanted to like I started watching the school a little more. I was like, oh wow, like Steve Nash came from there, J-Dub came from there. Maybe the school is actually not that bad. So I heard about Pods a bit early. Um, his form smooth. He's a great shooter, great defender. He's led the league in charges last season. I think
Yeah, he did.
he's going to be someone that Steph looks to a lot, especially because they didn't really make that big move. They didn't get that Lauri Markkanen piece we all thought they might have gotten. And like, who's their second option realistically? It's probably Kuminga, but I don't think, like you said, Kuminga getting minutes in that offense is not really as likely. So Pods they think is untouchable. Probably means he's going to start. They bench Klay Thompson, a franchise legend for him.
Yeah.
So they obviously think highly of him. So yeah, I think Pods is the one.
Yeah, you touched on like basically everything that I thought about him as well. So I don't really think that there's more to go on as well. Like they just think they think of him so highly. So like we just kind of had to
Got
put
to,
it
right?
Yeah, you have to.
Right. Sacramento, I went a bit more bold.
Okay.
And he just came off a torn labrum surgery, so I don't know how much he's gonna play. I went with Devin Carter.
Okay.
Mostly because I had him pegged as a 6th pick in the draft, in my mock draft. I think the world of Devin Carter. Like I think he's gonna be insane, and it makes me sad that he went to a team like Sacramento. But I think where De'Aaron Fox needs help is backup for that lead guard. I can't really think of a good backup point guard in that system in a while. Like I'm trying to think. Like I think Keon Ellis was supposed to fit that role, but he became a spot up shooter.
Yeah.
So
he became like
they
a
brought in
and a spot shooter. That's basically it.
Exactly. And I think they brought in Devin Carter to finally fill that hole. That's what they needed to draft. They brought in Jordan McLaughlin. I don't really think he's going to get any minutes on the team.
Yeah.
So I think Devin Carter is going to get the brunt of the backup minutes. And a player like that, not even for his production, because I don't think he's even going to be a top 4 player on the team this season. But I think it's more so like in soccer, you look at it like a player that replaces a star player or a player that's on the bench to like sub in for a star player is almost as important as like a second or third best player, because when that star player needs rest, it's those rest minutes, like they add up if you don't get any rest. Like take a look at like any team that didn't have any bench depth, the 2019 Thunder, where like Paul George didn't have any backup minutes, tore his shoulder because of it. Like you're going to need adequate production off the bench, and Devin Carter is going to give you that sort of push off the bench that you don't lose a lot when De'Aaron Fox goes to the bench. It gives De'Aaron Fox a little more leeway and gets rid of those ticky-tack injuries in the middle.
Yeah. That's a great take. For me, it's Keegan Murray. I just think like Keegan Murray has like he's like you saw like that one game where he had like 13 threes or something like that. You know, like the potential is there for him to go out there and be a consistent 40% 3-point shooter like any given year. But like that consistency hasn't been there with him. And I feel like once he gets into that consistent level of being a 3 to 4 3-point like shot maker every single game, then at the same time it would help the Kings so much, because like the Kings don't have too many shooters on their team. Yeah, like everyone on their team can kind of shoot the ball, but Keegan Murray's like he's their sharpshooter. Like he's like the Klay Thompson for their team. Like he'll come off picks, he can come off the ball on his own. He can pop a 3, do a sidestep 3, step back 3s. Like he has it all in his back. I just want the consistency to be there.
Yeah, valid take 2. Okay, we're in New Orleans, right? So for New Orleans, I have Trey Murphy the third.
Yeah, I have Trey Murphy the third as well.
Yeah, it was between him and Herb for me. So
it was between him and Herb as well. Yep.
Yeah,
it was between
I think
Herb and Jordan Hawkins for me. Them 3.
Oh, Jordan Hawkins is a good pick, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think he's gonna get minutes in the system?
I feel like he can get that backup like two guard maybe.
That's fair. You speak on Trey Murphy because I did the last one.
Yeah. So like Trey Murphy, like has that like he's like a 3-and-D player. Like dude shoots 45% from the field and then 38% from 3, and 15 points a game, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and then he's also like I think he's like how tall is he? If I'm not, it's like 6'8", 6'9", right?
He's around 6'8", yeah.
Yeah, and then he plays like the 3 or the 4. He's like really long, like that 3. Like the only reason I'm not as high on him as I thought I usually would be is because with like the measurables he has, he should be a lot better of a defender than he is right now. But like kind of his role on the team isn't to be like that full 3-and-D player. That's kind of Herb Jones's role. His team is to be like that sharpshooter and like that kind of extra offensive boost for the team, like when DeJounte's not in his game or when Zion's not healthy or something like that. But I feel like if he can just consistently, again, it's like all these young players, like he's only 24 years old. So like half their problem is just being consistent. It's like hard to do that in the league. And he's been able to do it. Like there was 1 month specifically in February where he averaged 15 points a game on 41% shooting from three and then like 50% shooting from the field. And that was like consistently for every single game. If he can do that for a whole season, the Pelicans should not be nowhere near like the bottom like 8 to 10 seed like with the roster they have. They should be like a six seed or higher. So for me, it's Trey Murphy the third for those reasons.
Yeah, just to add a little, like the level of shooter he is, like it's when he gets hot, it's scary, bro.
And then like he'll pull it from anywhere too.
Yeah, like against the Thunder, it was like, bro, like is he gonna really shoot from here and he'd cash it like almost every time? He shot a pretty high percentage against us. Mm-hmm. So that's honestly more of the reason why I had him as the X factor between him and Herb. Obviously, Herb being what I think is the best defender in the league.
Yeah.
Has also a shot. I struggled a lot with the Lakers one because
they have a lot of players that you want to like that could be really good, but you don't know if they'll actually get the playing time to be good.
Yeah, because you obviously don't want to choose LeBron and AD.
Yeah,
and
or like Austin Reeves. I'm not going to choose.
Yeah, I didn't want to choose Austin Reeves either. So I went with D'Lo. I don't know, man. Like I'm not really like confident about it. Like I don't necessarily think that D'Lo is going to be amazing. Yeah. But the way I thought about it was like, if the Lakers are going to like close out a playoff series, like, or let me put it this way: if the Lakers weren't to close out a playoff series besides LeBron and AD, who would they blame? And it's probably going to be D'Lo.
Yeah.
So like if they were to then win the playoff series, D'Lo probably played well. So that's like my sort of reasoning behind it. I did a little Googling with this one too to see what other sources picked. People said like Gabe Vincent. I don't know if you have Gabe Vincent as a thing, but like I think that's stupid. Like he's not even going to get any minutes. Like I just don't think Gabe Vincent.
Yeah, he got taken out of the rotation like throughout the year last year. So
yeah, like I don't really see it. But like D'Lo gets super hot from three. Like he's honestly like a pretty underrated passer at this point. Like he's like even in college he's a pretty underrated passer. Like he'll find open looks, and I don't know. Like I'm not really too confident with this one. Who do you have for this?
For me, I have Jared Vanderbilt.
Okay, that's a solid actually.
Yeah, I think like Jared Vanderbilt, he used to be on the Timberwolves for like during Anthony Edwards' rookie season, and like during that time, like Cat and D'Lo were hurt, so we had to play a lot of people from the bench, and Jared Vanderbilt kind of made his way into the starting lineup. And the whole reason like he found playing time was just because of his defense and his like hustle and like the motor he has. Like he didn't play, he was hurt a lot of the season last year for the Lakers, and you kind of saw that like defensive pressure that the Lakers usually kind of normally have, like that wasn't there because he's like that player that would take on like the other team's number one player, and then like he can switch on to basically 1 through 5 in my opinion. Like even though he plays a power forward, he has a perimeter speed and the perimeter quickness and lateral quickness to keep up with a point guard and a shooting guard in the league. And he's also really long that if he does get beat off the dribble, he can recover and block the shot at the rim. So, and you saw, I like firsthand, you saw the impact of him not being on the court. So when he is healthy, like the Lakers would be a better team, obviously. But to my reasoning, like he's the X factor for them. But at the same time, he's not going to take them from like a 7 seed to a 4 seed just because he's healthy. Like maybe there's a chance they can fight for a 6 seed. But like that, I just feel like him being on it, like healthy for the team, just makes them better.
That's fair. I forgot Vanderbilt's on the team too. That's a good take. Okay, so the Suns. So I think this might be my favorite one because I don't even know if he's gonna get minutes. Like I don't even know if he's gonna get consistent playing time. But I have Ryan Dunn here.
Okay.
And like he's like he follows the Andre Roberson mold of like complete zero on offense, complete package on defense. Like he's such a good defender. And if I'm not mistaken, like what the Suns lack, like if you look at their sort of players like D-Book, Bradley Beal, Grayson Allen, Kevin Durant, like all of them kind of lack that sort of like defensive stopper ability.
Yeah.
Like, so in my ideal world, like they bring Ryan Dunn in games where like they need a stop and he gets a stop. Like those sort of close games, they let a lot of trouble last season closing leads and like holding leads. A lot of that is obviously due to their inability to get stops on the defensive end. A player like Ryan Dunn, being there for a couple possessions just to stop Anthony Edwards from like hurting you too much, stop a Shea, stop an etc. Like I'm not saying you always get to fucking like guard Anthony Edwards, but like if he's gonna if anyone can on that team, it's probably him realistically.
Yeah.
So that's why I have him there, just to ease the concerns of the defensive end.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good take. For me, I have Tyus Jones. He just recently got signed to the team, and he's filling in the position that the Suns didn't have from the beginning. Like they didn't have a true point guard, and Tyus Jones is like the definition of a true point guard. He has the lowest assist to turnover ratio in the league, which is amazing. Like the number one assist to turnover ratio in the league, that's what you want from a point guard. And again, he's not going to start because they're still going to keep that Bradley Beal Devin Booker duo, even though I think they should move Bradley Beal to the bench and start Tyus Jones, because that would make your team a lot better. But just having that kind of point guard coming off the bench too, it's just going to give the team kind of some structure. And what happened?
Oh, do you think Bradley Beal to the bench? Is that a hot take?
I don't know if that's a hot take.
It's not to me. I don't know.
We both think that like maybe it should happen because.
But I think they should. I think Bradley Beal should be out of the league. I'm kidding.
Yeah, you were about to say he should be out of the league. You were gonna say. I don't know about all of that. You still makes me think.
No, continue.
But yeah, I was just like, they need someone that can initiate offense, because when you have 3 ball dominant players on the team, yeah, D-Book is really good at like kind of adjusting to like roles. Like you saw it on Team USA, like he can do that pretty easily. But Bradley Beal can't do that. Like he's like, I need the ball in my hand. I need to take 30 shots a game, because that's like what he did on the Wizards. That's like the only play style he was used to playing. So having a player like Tyus Jones come to the team, especially on the contract he's on, I think they got him relatively cheap. It was close to a veteran's minimum, if I'm not mistaken. So getting him on that kind of contract as well, like I really feel like he could change the course of that team.
It's a great take too. Okay, so for the Mavs, I have Klay Thompson.
Okay, I also have Klay as well.
Yeah, so I mean, this is pretty obvious. Like the Mavs, like besides the Thunder series, struggle from 3 in terms of percentage, and Klay is the second best shooter of all time.
Yeah.
So if they want, actually, that's a great topic we should have one day. Who's a better shooter, Klay or Dame? But like, I think like second could be the second or third best shooter of all time, Klay, and like adding that to Luka and Kyrie, like in theory, it should work. And if Klay has any juice left on the defensive end, he's like the best defender on that team, unless I'm forgetting someone. So, like, I think on both ends, Klay provides an advantage to the Mavs they didn't have before. So, that's a pretty easy pick for me.
Yeah, I think Klay is also, like, you kind of touched on it all. Like, there's really nothing else you need to say. Like, if he can get back to even like half of like defensive intensity that he like was able to do before his injuries, that would go even a longer way for the Mavs. Like, yeah, including like what he can bring with his shooting as well.
Yeah. So moving quickly on to the Clippers, I don't even know, bro. Like, okay, I struggle with both the LA teams. Terrence Mann, I think.
Yeah, that's who I had.
That's probably the one. Like before, I had Chris Dunn like 20 minutes ago. I like changed it midway because like, why am I putting Chris Dunn on a list?
Yeah,
2024. But like, I think
maybe like Derrick Jones Jr. Like, I guess you can maybe put him, but I personally think that Derrick Jones Jr. is like playoff run was a fluke in my opinion. I don't think that he's gonna be.
Yeah, bro, he had a fadeaway jump shot over Chet Holmgren. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
no way.
That's not happening.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Like Clippers fans speak quite highly of Terrence Mann. They say that he should get more minutes. He should play more consistently.
Yeah.
If like I don't watch enough Clippers basketball to say whether I think Terrence Mann is the third best player in the team or not, but like they all seem pretty high on him. So like I don't know. I don't think anyone in the Clippers roster really is an X factor. I don't see that team going anywhere.
Yeah,
So
they're gonna be a pretty bad team. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah. All right, we can move on from the Clippers.
Yeah, we can move on.
So so okay, here's a complete opposite. I think Denver is the most fun team to project for this because I had like 6 different names where I could have put an X factor for, but and I kept switching my. Sorry,
you skipped a team.
I skipped a team.
Yeah,
What team I skipped?
you skipped a 3rd seed.
Weren't the Nuggets not the?
The
Nuggets.
the Wolves were the 3rd seed.
Oh, I put the Wolves in the 2nd seed in my thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So do the Wolves first, and then do the Nuggets.
All right, fine. I guess I'll do the Wolves first. I guess. Right, whatever. So the Wolves are a less fun team to predict, but I chose Rob Dillingham.
Yeah.
Like
I have someone else, but like I think that's a great pick.
Yeah, I think like we discussed Rob like every episode, bro. At this point, like he's gonna be so much fun on that team to watch.
Yeah.
And like with the aging Mike Conley, like I'm gonna be the same points over and over again, but who cares, right? Aging Mike Conley means that they need some juice in the offensive end. Rob, like at worst, is gonna be a great 6 man. Like so, like he can put the ball in the basket, professional scorer. Like he's got, like he likes to call himself. The Wolves kind of need that juice in the offensive end because they were so good on defense, but the offensive end is where I think you mentioned in the previous episode they were 15th or something,
yeah.
16th. So Rob's addition alone brings you top 10, I think. So like they need his offense to make a deep run in the playoffs, I think, and
yeah,
he's there.
Yep. For me, I have Jaden McDaniels for me, and I just like, bro, he's like, in my opinion, like probably the 2nd or 3rd best defender in the league, like perimeter defender wise in the league. He can guard 1 through 4. When he like is on, like offensively wise, he can't miss from 3. But then when he is off from 3, he misses everything and he misses them badly. Which again, like these 3-and-D players, you don't want to see them like go 5 for 5 one game and then go over 10 one game. I rather them go like 3 for 7 consistently every night, or like 2 for 5 consistently every night. That's what you want to see. And at the same time, like Jaden McDaniels has flashes of him being able to put the ball on the floor, rise above defenders because he's like really lengthy, so he can rise above defenders, like shoot over them, and he could do that. He has a pretty decent handle for being 6'9", 6'10", and like I just want that more consistency offensively. And if that happens, if he goes from like that, he was like, I think it was like a 9 to 10 point per game scorer this year. Yeah, he averaged 10 points per game this year. If he goes from 10 to like a 15 point per game scorer, that would be huge for the Wolves. Because like again, offense is where they kind of needed more production, and getting offense more production outside of Ant and Cat, and then now Rob. Like if you get it from someone else like Jaden, that would help a lot.
Yeah. All right. Now we're doing Denver.
Yeah.
And again, like I said before, like this is the most fun team because I had about 6 different answers while doing this. Like they've lost so many pieces that almost anyone could be an X factor at this point.
Yeah.
But I went for Zeke Naji, and it's mostly because as far as I know, he's their backup center, unless like the rookie plays minutes. But I think that they gave him 4 years, $32 million to be a player on the team. They're not just handing out $32 million as charity. Like he's gonna have to play some minutes for it. And like from like the limited amount I've seen him play basketball, really lengthy player. Kasem has obvious defensive upside. Like he can be a player that holds it down while Jokic goes to the bench. Like there's no like Jokic's conditioning just will never be good enough for him to consistently play like 40 minutes of like hard basketball. Yeah. Like he's gonna need to sit and he's gonna need to like take rest, and they need a fortifiable backup for that to happen. Zeke Naji just slides into the role. They can't play DeAndre Jordan basketball in 2024, so it just has to be him.
Imagine turning on a game and you see DeAndre Jordan playing 20 minutes.
Bro, if I see DeAndre Jordan play any basketball and the Nuggets aren't up by 55 points, then I'm turning the TV off, bro.
For me, I have Peyton Watson.
Okay.
I feel they lost KCP over the offseason, so you're gonna have Christian Braun probably take that starting role, and then now you have that. Now their bench is gonna be really bad, and that was already a problem for them last season. And I feel like even throughout the Nuggets organization, they've like the team and like management expects Peyton Watson to take that next step. He's already like a really, really good defender. Like that's like what he's known for, like his defense. But bro he shot 29.6% from three last season. But the season before that, he shot 43% from three. It just was like seemed like he just like forgot how to shoot from one season to like the other season. And if you get, I feel like it was just mainly confidence for him. If you get that confidence back and go back to being like a 35% 3-point shooter, not even like a 40% 3-point shooter, and then continue that defensive intensity and give good six-man minutes off the bench for the team, that would help the Nuggets a lot and kind of maybe still keep them in that like 2 to 3 range.
That's a great take because their GM Calvin Booth, like he said that the reason that like losing KCP is cool because Christian Brown slides into there and then Peyton Watson slides right under Christian Brown. Yep. Pause. So like I think like that's a great take. So last but certainly not least, I have for the Thunder. I think again, this is one of those teams where like a lot of people could be an X factor.
Mm-hmm.
And originally I had Dub, but I think Dub's too good.
I think Dub's too big of a name to put as X factor, so that's why I didn't put him.
Yeah. So I went with Isaiah Joe.
I also went with Isaiah Joe as well. I was gonna do Aaron Wiggins or Isaiah Joe, one of those two.
Okay, actually, you do Isaiah Joe. I can talk about Aaron Wiggins.
Okay, yeah. Well, bro? Every time I see Isaiah Joe play, bro, like he's a sniper from three. Like, yeah, he every time he gets the ball from like the winger corner, like he's almost it's like a guaranteed like he's pulling it. And then after he pulls it, there's like an 80% chance, especially if he's open, it's going in. I just like the only thing I always thought was like maybe he's like a little too small and like on the skinnier side to like play consistent minutes, but at the same time, like you see a lot of players like that kind of come into the league. Like I feel like being big isn't like a necessity to play in the NBA anymore. All you got to do is be quick and be able to stay in front of someone and then kind of recover if you do get onto a mismatch. And he only played like 19 minutes a game for you guys last season, averaged 8 points a game, 46% from the field, 42% from three, which is crazy. He's basically been shooting 41% from three for the past two years.
Our whole team damn near shoots 40% from three, bro. It's crazy.
It's crazy. So like just having someone like him, again, like he's 25 years old. Like he's not super old and like he's not super young, but he still has time to improve other aspects of the game. Maybe like the team is already stacked in my opinion. Like they have a lot of players that can put the ball on the floor and get their own buckets. But when Shea and J-Dub aren't on the floor, like maybe he could take that next step of being like more of like a slasher to the rim as well, apart from being a 3-point shooter, because that would also like kind of revitalize your team and give you guys a lot of different other like plays and different options you can kind of include him in with as well. But like I think that he's the X factor for you guys.
Yeah. And to add a little more before I talk about Aaron Wiggins, but I don't know if anyone saw the first game that Isaiah Joe really came onto the scene. And we were down by, I think it was 13 points with like a few minutes to go against Dallas. And Isaiah Joe actually just shot us back in the game on his own. Mm-hmm. I had no idea who he was. I had an idea who he was, but no Thunder fan really was like looking at like Isaiah Joe as like a candidate to like bring us back into games. Mm-hmm. And he went 4 for 4 from three in the fourth quarter, and then he went 2 for 2 more in the overtime to bring us back and win us the game. That's what got him the contract. And until around 2 months ago, he was the greatest free agent signing in Oklahoma City Thunder history, which is like absurd because it was previously Nerlens Noel. So we were really shooting too hot. But now Aaron Wiggins, like the man who saved basketball. Yeah. And like I think people don't understand how good Aaron Wiggins is at basketball. Like UMD alum, so I was already following him when he was obviously I go to UMD, so I was obviously following him when he was at college too. And he like no one can guess what his 3-point percentage was last season. Do you want to take one flyer? What it was?
Last season?
Yeah.
I know what it was because I was doing research, but like it's pretty crazy.
It is 49%, bro. He shot 49% from three last season. I think he was second in the league to Grayson Allen. I don't know, but it was something in like that crazy realm where like we had Aaron Wiggins, second best shooter. J-Dub was 45% for most of the year, and Isaiah Joe was like 43% for most of the year. So like our whole team damn near was shooting 40% from three at one point, and Aaron Wiggins like he was like his ability to put the ball on the floor and get a basket. Like people, like teams don't see it. Like you see people who react to NBA games go, "Who is this casual? Like why is he playing minutes?" But like he's different. And a lot of positions on our team, we kind of have like log jams at. Like we have a lot of guard play. We have now we have a good amount of center play with Chet, Isaiah Hartenstein, Jalen Williams, like the taller one, and Jay Will. But a place where we almost need a little more offense is that wing score, where we have like J-Dub is kind of like fluctuates in that guard and forward. I think he's gonna play a lot more 2 next season. But we have Aaron Wiggins that's gonna slide naturally into that 3. And Caruso and Dort are more so defenders and scorers, but Wiggins is going to put the ball on the floor and get a basket for you. And he was playing clutch time minutes for us. And if we want to go far, we need that kind of like 6th, 7th, 8th man to get us those sort of 12 to 13 points a game.
Yeah. Yep. That's a great take. Yeah. I feel like there's so many people on the Thunder that we could have chosen from, but especially those two are really like key pieces for them going into the future. So since we finished the Western Conference, we will be doing the Eastern Conference next episode. So we're gonna shift our focus into another segment that we did before as well. We're gonna go back and each of us are gonna do a bold NBA guarantee. So I'm gonna start off and give one bold guarantee that I think is gonna happen during this upcoming season, and Aashrith will maybe just touch on how hot of a take that is, or if he thinks it will actually happen, and then he'll give one as well, and then we'll end the episode after that. So for my first guarantee is that the Mavs are first round exits in the playoffs next season. I just feel like that the team, like they added Clay, but you kind of saw the Kyrie regression in the finals, like a little bit, not even a little bit, a lot. Like you saw him, like he wasn't like the Kyrie that he used to be in like playoff games or big time games. Like he would deliver night in, night out, but like he was non-existent. And that's, in my opinion, it's because of age. Like age stops you from performing at a high level consistently, because you could do it for a night or two out of a couple games, but doing it consistently, you gotta like your body has to be in like the best shape to be able to do it. And then again, you add in another regressing player like Clay. Obviously, he's going to help your team with the shooting that they didn't really have that much and that they lacked in the playoffs. But are we sure that, again, like he's going to have those 0 for 10 kind of nights, and they're going to be a lot more common than what us as NBA fans were used to seeing. Is Clay trash?
My bad,
said that, but I mean, you guys let us know if you think he's trash. Just drop it in the comments.
Oh man.
But like what I was saying is like you're gonna see him have a lot more of those like really poor shooting nights, and to a lot of NBA fans, it's gonna come to a surprise. It's gonna come as a surprise. Like, why is it happening so often? Well, like you saw it happen the last 2 years. Like it's gonna keep happening. Like the older you get, the worse the player is gonna be. Like 2 of your 3 best players are over the age of 33 years old or 32 years old. That's kind of concerning for me. And like, I don't know if Derek Lively is gonna be that good of a player like he was last season. Yeah, he's really young. I don't know if he was playing. He had like the highest plus minus on the team. Like that's crazy. Yeah. Like I don't know if he's gonna be able to do that again. And then PJ Washington, in my opinion, like he's gonna go back to shooting like 32% from 3 during the regular season, and I don't think that's gonna help. That's even gonna like how he's not gonna go out there and give you 60% from 3 in the playoffs. Like that's not gonna happen. He's not gonna go 4 for 4 from corner 3 every single game. Like I feel like their run banked on a lot of players playing like at a higher level than what they normally play consistently, and that they were just playing their best basketball at the perfect time. So for me, like I don't think that's gonna happen again.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, like we did our predictions around a couple weeks ago, and I had the Grizzlies finishing higher than them. For like most of the same reasons. Like I agree. There's no like what pissed me off even more about the PJ Washington thing is like he went back to like normal like literally like the next series. Like
even against us, he wasn't like
he wasn't like lighting the world on fire. Yeah.
But so dude, I mean, he wasn't lighting the world on fire, but every time he touched the ball in the fourth quarter against the Wolves, he was making every single 3 points. Especially if there was like 2 minutes left in the game, bro, he would make every single corner 3.
Yeah, and that's not gonna happen realistically. Yeah. Unless like props to him if he becomes like an insane shooter.
Nah, but not props to him. He's not doing that, bro. He's a casual. He's a mid. He's mid at best.
comment down below if you think PJ Washington is quote a casual. So, so for my take, I think that the Clippers don't get.
No, his take is that the Clippers just
Uh,
suck.
I mean, yeah, I think I already said like I think they're closer to giving us Cooper Flag than they are coming to the playoffs. But like I don't think they get a single All-Star. Like, this isn't even like Clippers hate. Like I love hating on the Clippers, but this isn't necessarily like Clippers hate more so than like see the influx of like talent that's come into the league at this point and see the way the Clippers roster is regressing. Like you have two like viable candidates to become All-Stars in Kawhi Leonard and James Harden. But I think that you have Wemby, who's almost a lock at this point. You have Devin Vassell, who I think is going to be really good. You have J-Dub, you have Chet, you have Şengün, you have Ja. Like you have like Zion Bi, you have De'Aaron Fox. Like all these people weren't All-Stars last season. And like was Lowry an All-Star last season? I don't think Lowry was an All-Star last season. Like you have so many players that are just like looking at in the Western Conference thinking that okay, this could be my year. Yeah. And you have like an aging Kawhi Leonard and like an aging James Harden. I don't even think like it's gonna be controversial. I just don't think the Clippers have an All-Star. Yeah. And like there are gonna be a lot of players vying for those like 12, like 8 through 12 on the All-Star team. And a lot of those players, I think, will have better seasons than Kawhi Leonard. I don't think James Harden's even in the discussion. So, yeah, I mean that's my NBA guarantee, I guess. What do you think?
I could very much see that happening because like Kawhi, like I don't think he's gonna play more than 60 games. I feel like he just doesn't care anymore. Like I said this once already. Like I feel like he got his one championship and now he's not really too worried about. Or yeah, he got his two champion. He got that after like that Toronto championship. He just kind of was like, I don't really need to do anything else with my career. Like you kind of see it. Like if players are injured going into the playoffs, they would do like you saw Luka. Luka was playing on one leg for like 2 series basically, and he still found a way to go out there and play. Like Kawhi, like if there is something holding him back, he will probably end up sitting out, even if it's like a small injury. Because like he doesn't like he's probably at the position in his life where he's like, I don't want to put my body through it. So I don't think that
I don't blame him.
Like like he has a Hall of Fame resume already. He has a Hall of Fame resume already. So like he doesn't have to do anything else. But like he's in the league. So if you're in the league playing for your team, like my whole thing is like go out there and try and win or go out there and actually play games.
Yeah, that's valid.
So yeah, I feel like that All-Star spot is going to be open. I feel like this is going to be the year where we see Kawhi as not an All-Star. And then like for the past 2-3 years anyways, James Harden hasn't been an All-Star anyways. So it's not like he's going to magically become a lot better at 35 years old. Like he's not going to go out there and average 25 points a game again. Like it's not going to happen.
Yeah, but guys, if you think that Kevin Porter Jr. is going to become an All-Star this season, then comment down below.
Let us know.
Because that might be the only like chance they have.
Yeah, bro. Did you hear Jaylen Brown diss Kevin Porter Jr. on his song?
That was so crazy, bro. That was a hard listen.
That was insane,
bro. All right, well, that probably caps it off, right?
Yeah, definitely. So that's the end of our episode for today. We are probably it's gonna be released tomorrow, so that's gonna be Monday for you, whatever you guys are listening. We're gonna drop our next episode on Wednesday, and we're gonna be doing the 15 X factors for the teams in the East, and then we'll probably do another segment. Maybe it'll be another bold guarantee segment. Maybe it'll be something else. Just stay tuned, and yeah, just keep sticking with us, and we're gonna continue to keep posting content. Peace.